Hello there, and welcome to the Boring Universe channel. Take a slow breath in and let it go. Tonight, you don't need to think, solve, or remember anything. Just allow your body to rest and your mind to drift. This story is about Earth long after humans are gone. Not in a dramatic way, not with disasters or fear, but in a quiet, gentle future where the planet continues calmly, patiently, exactly as it always has. You can imagine yourself floating above the Earth, watching time move slowly, like clouds drifting across a still sky. One day, long after the last human sound fades, Earth notices the silence, not suddenly, not with surprise, but like a lake that settles when the wind stops blowing. The first thing to disappear is noise. No engines, no distant hum of cities, no constant vibration in the ground, just wind moving through leaves, waves folding onto shore, and the soft shifting of soil. Without maintenance, buildings begin to change, not collapsing all at once, but slowly relaxing. Metal rusts gently, expanding like a deep breath. Concrete cracks allow tiny seeds to settle in, patient and persistent. Rainwater pools on rooftops. Moss arrives first, thin and soft, then grasses, then small shrubs. Roots explore every weakness, widening cracks grain by grain. Roads, once straight and firm, begin to soften. Weeds grow through the smallest openings. Within decades, pavement becomes a memory beneath layers of green. Rivers quietly reclaim their old paths. Without dams holding them still, water remembers where it once flowed. Floodplains return. Wetlands breathe again, filtering water slowly, rhythmically. Cities near the coast begin to blur into the sea. Salt air eats away at steel. Tides wash streets clean of edges and corners. Fish drift through places where traffic once stopped. In colder regions, snow piles higher than it ever did before. Without plows or heat, winter lingers longer. Ice presses into buildings until they gently give way. Forests expand without urgency. Trees don't rush. They simply grow, year after year, ring after ring, spreading into empty spaces. Animals move differently now. They don't avoid lights or sounds anymore. Deer wander through silent suburbs. Birds nest in open windows. Insects fill the air with quiet motion. At night, the sky becomes darker than any human remembers. No artificial glow softens the stars. The Milky Way stretches fully across the sky, bright and calm. Oceans begin to heal in subtle ways. Shipwrecks become reefs. Fishing lines dissolve. Coral grows slowly, one fragile layer at a time. Plastic remains, but even it changes. Sunlight makes it brittle. Waves break it down into smaller pieces, then smaller still. Earth does not hurry. It has time. Carbon slowly settles back into forests and soil. The air cools by fractions of a degree, quietly. Weather patterns soften, then find new rhythms. Mountains do nothing at all. They remain exactly where they are, unmoved by absence. Erosion continues grain by grain, just as it always has. Volcanoes still breathe. Earthquakes still ripple deep underground. The planet does not stop being alive when no one is watching. Satellites fall from the sky one by one. They burn briefly, silently, like fading thoughts. Nothing looks up to see them. After centuries, it becomes hard to tell where cities once stood. Stone returns to sand. Steel returns to dust. Only faint shapes remain, barely noticeable beneath trees and soil. Earth does not celebrate. It does not mourn. It simply continues. And as you imagine this slow, peaceful future, you might notice your breathing becoming softer, your thoughts slowing, your body sinking gently into rest. Nothing needs to happen next. Time is wide, the planet is calm, and you are safe. floating quietly, while Earth sleeps and wakes, over and over again. 1,000 years pass the way a single night passes for you, slowly, almost without noticing. Stone remembers time better than memory ever could. Walls soften at the edges. Corners round themselves into gentle curves. What once felt permanent learns how to loosen. Forests no longer feel like visitors in former cities. They feel settled. Roots lace beneath old foundations, holding soil together where concrete once did. Leaves blanket everything, season after season, building new ground, layer by layer. Rivers now ignore every line humans tried to draw. They wander freely, bending, branching, returning to forgotten paths. Water spreads across land with patience, creating marshes where parking lots once baked in the sun. Rain falls differently now. Without heat islands, clouds form more evenly. Storms still arrive, but they feel less rushed. Water sinks into soil instead of racing away. Bridges slowly become part of landscapes. Vines climb their sides. Birds perch where cars once passed. Eventually, metal thins and yields, sinking quietly into riverbeds. Air feels cleaner, but not sharper. It feels soft, carrying scents of soil, leaf decay, salt, and rain. The smell of earth doing exactly what it evolved to do. Animals forget fear that once lived in their instincts, not all at once. But generation by generation, caution fades. Movement becomes relaxed again. Large predators return to places they haven't walked in thousands of years. Not with drama, just with quiet certainty. Night belongs fully to darkness. Stars appear brighter, not because they changed, but because nothing competes with them. Moonlight feels enough. Weather erases names. Storms wash signs clean. Wind removes paint. Frost splits stone carefully, repeatedly. Time presses gently on everything humans left behind, not with anger, not with intent, just with consistency. Some materials resist longer than others. Glass smooths into soft curves. Plastic fades into fragile fragments. Even these eventually scatter, buried, broken down, diluted. Deep underground, tunnels fill with water. Subways become rivers. Fish learn new paths where trains once moved. Forests grow taller now, older. Their canopies close like ceilings. Light filters down in slow green patterns. Soil thickens. Microbes flourish. Life hums quietly beneath your imagined feet. Earth's temperature shifts slightly, not dramatically, just enough to feel balanced. Ice stabilizes. Seasons return to long, predictable rhythms. Mountains continue their work, barely noticeable, always happening. Volcanoes breathe ash into skies no one watches. Ash feeds soil. Soil feeds forests. Nothing is wasted. Nothing is hurried. If you listen closely in your mind, you might notice the absence of urgency. No schedules, no deadlines, no expectation of progress, just cycles, repeating, reliable. And as centuries pass like slow breaths, you may feel your own thoughts thinning, stretching, becoming quieter. Your body understands this pace. It recognizes it. Earth does not rush, and neither do you. When you're ready, we'll drift even farther forward, to a time when even memory has softened into landscape, and the planet feels ancient again. 10,000 years pass without announcement. No marker separates before and after. Time simply keeps moving, the way water keeps flowing when no one is counting it. What once looked like ruins no longer reads as history. Stone shapes soften until they resemble natural outcrops. Walls become low ridges. Foundations dissolve into gentle rises in the ground. Forests no longer grow over old cities. They grow through them. Trees anchor themselves where soil is deepest, unconcerned with what once stood there. In some places, Faint straight lines remain, not roads anymore, just subtle patterns in how trees space themselves, how soil drains, how grass grows slightly differently in long, quiet stripes. Rivers forget their old interruptions completely. They carve curves without hesitation. Sediment builds deltas where concrete once blocked the flow. Coastlines redraw themselves patiently. Without seawalls, beaches move inland. Salt marshes spread like soft green blankets, absorbing tides instead of resisting them. The ocean grows quieter near shore. Not calmer, just less disturbed. Waves arrive on their own terms. Coral structures thicken slowly. Fish grow larger, not because they need to, but because they can. Life fills available space without competition from absence. Inland, forests age into complexity. Dead trees fall and remain. They are not cleaned up. They become homes. Fungi stitch soil together in invisible networks. Nutrients move calmly from decay to growth. Nothing is rushed. Nothing is lost. The air carries fewer sharp changes, no sudden bursts of pollution, no artificial warmth rising at night. Temperatures follow longer, smoother curves. Ice caps respond gradually. Glaciers creep, retreat, advance, pause. Always slow, always patient. Human-made materials become rare curiosities. A piece of worked metal here, a smooth shard of glass there, soon covered again. Most traces dissolve below notice. Not erased, absorbed. Earth's surface begins to look ancient again, not empty, just complete. The night sky feels larger now. Without interruption, darkness stretches fully. Stars feel closer, though they are not. The planet spins exactly as it always has, unaware of chapters, unconcerned with endings. You might notice, as you imagine this time, that there is no loneliness here, only presence. Life fills silence naturally, not with noise, but with balance. Breathing slows, thoughts loosen their edges. The mind begins to rest the way land rests under snow. Nothing is expected of you in this future. Nothing is missing. Earth continues quiet, ancient, alive. And when you're ready, we'll drift even farther, to a time so distant that the planet itself feels like a deep memory held gently by the universe. 1,000,000 years pass as gently as a long breath, not fast, not slow, just steady. Mountains continue their quiet work. Wind smooths their edges. Rain carries tiny grains of stone downhill. Nothing dramatic happens, and yet everything changes. Peaks become softer, valleys widen, rivers deepen their paths, one careful curve at a time. Forests rise and fall in cycles too slow to notice. Whole species appear, spread, and fade. Not as loss, just as transition. Grasslands replace forests. Forests return again later. The land never settles on one answer. The ocean holds its own memory. Currents move heat across the planet like slow thoughts. Warm water drifts toward cold places. Cold water sinks, patient and heavy. Coastlines no longer resemble maps anyone once drew. Continents shift by the width of a fingernail each year. Enough time makes that enough. Former cities are no longer even whispers, not ruins, not shapes, just chemistry redistributed. Atoms that once formed walls now live in shells, in leaves, in clouds. The air changes composition slowly, barely noticeable, even to Earth itself. Life adapts without announcement. The sky remains familiar. Sunrise still warms land. Sunset still softens color. Days lengthen by fractions of seconds over millennia. Earth's rotation eases almost imperceptibly. Time stretches without strain. Volcanoes continue to open brief windows into the planet's interior. They release pressure. They build new land. They feed soil. Nothing they do is violent to Earth. It is simply how breathing looks on a planetary scale. Ice advances and retreats like sleep cycles, cold periods, warm periods, always balanced by time. Life grows more intricate, not more urgent. Creatures adapt to silence the way fish adapt to water. It becomes normal. From space, Earth looks calm, blue, green, unconcerned. Clouds drift in slow patterns, never forming words, never needing meaning. If you imagine yourself floating here, far above this ancient planet, you may feel how small effort becomes. No alarms, no milestones, no expectations. Just motion without pressure. Your breathing might mirror this rhythm now. In, out. Earth does not hurry toward anything. It does not resist change. It allows it. And in that allowance, there is deep rest. When you're ready, we'll move even farther to a time when the sun itself begins to change and Earth listens quietly, as it always does. Far ahead in time, the sun begins to feel slightly different. Not brighter in a way that startles, just warmer, more persistent, more present. Millions of years pass between each small change. Nothing happens suddenly. Earth adjusts the way it always has, quietly. Days grow a little warmer on average, not enough to notice at first, but enough for patterns to shift. Clouds change their habits. They rise a bit higher. They thin in some places, thicken in others. Rain chooses new paths. Forests retreat from the warmest regions, not as loss, just as movement. Grasslands spread where trees once stood. Then even grass gives way to open, sunlit earth. The oceans become Earth's great memory keepers. They absorb heat patiently, layer by layer. Warm water lingers near the surface. Deep currents continue their endless quiet loops. Life adapts without fear. Plants grow with different rhythms. Leaves become smaller, tougher, better at holding water. Growth slows, but it does not stop. Coastlines shimmer under stronger sunlight. Shallow seas grow warm and bright. Reefs change their shapes. Some fade. Others appear elsewhere, unannounced. The sky remains blue, but paler at noon. Haze softens the horizon. Distances feel longer. Glaciers are now rare memories, held only in high places or deep time. Still, Earth does not resist. It never has. Volcanoes continue to release gases that help balance heat. Rock weathering quietly draws carbon from the air. The planet regulates itself the way a body does, slowly, instinctively. Nights remain gentle. Stars still appear. The moon continues its faithful path, pulling tides that rock the oceans in endless calm. Animal life becomes simpler, but no less complete. Smaller forms thrive. Life concentrates where conditions are kindest. Nothing feels broken. Nothing feels wrong. This is not an ending, just another chapter written in warmth instead of cold. From far away, Earth still looks peaceful, a little drier, a little brighter, still alive. If you notice your thoughts drifting now, that's okay. This time is meant to feel distant, soft, unimportant in the best possible way. Breathing slows again. The body lets go of urgency. Earth continues to listen to the sun. The sun continues to change. And between them, time stretches wide enough for rest. When you're ready, we'll drift even farther, to a future where water itself begins to grow quiet, and the planet settles into a deeper stillness. Time moves forward again, so slowly that even change feels tired. The sun warms Earth just a little more now, not harshly, not suddenly, just enough for water to begin choosing patience over motion. Oceans do not vanish, they thin. Surface water warms and rises into the sky. Clouds form, drift, and release rain that falls closer to the poles, or not at all. The cycle continues, but more softly each time. Seas pull back from shallow edges. Coral structures rest above water, drying slowly, becoming pale stone gardens beneath the open sky. Rivers grow quieter. Some no longer reach the ocean. They end peacefully in wide salt flats, leaving shimmering patterns behind. Lakes shrink without resistance. Their shores move inward year by year, marking time with rings of mineral memory. Life adapts again. It always does. Plants hold water tightly now. Leaves grow thick. Stems store moisture like calm reservoirs. Growth is slow, deliberate, efficient. Animals become smaller, lighter. They move mostly at night. They rest more than they wander. The air grows thinner, not empty, just lighter. Heat rises easily. Sound carries less. Wind shapes the land more than water now. Sand moves grain by grain, drawing soft lines across continents. Former ocean floors become vast open spaces. Salt crystals glitter quietly in the sun. The ground crunches gently under no feet at all. Still, Earth remains balanced. Rock weathering continues. Volcanoes breathe slowly. The planet exhales gases that keep the sky wrapped gently around it. The moon still pulls at what water remains. Tides are smaller, but faithful. Nothing breaks the rhythm. From space, Earth looks different. Less blue, more gold and stone. Still calm. Clouds appear thinner, but they still form. They still drift. They still dissolve. Nothing rushes toward an end. This is not collapse. It is settling. The planet becomes quieter in a deeper way now. Not silent, just composed. If you notice your body feeling heavier, that's natural. This is a story meant to slow you. Breathing becomes shallow, easy, unforced. Earth has learned how to rest with less water, just as it once rested with more. And when you're ready, we'll drift farther still, to a time when even the sky begins to thin and Earth grows lighter in the universe's hands. Time keeps moving, but now it feels almost transparent. The sky begins to thin, not tearing, not breaking, just slowly letting go of what it no longer needs to hold so tightly. Air becomes lighter, molecule by molecule. The atmosphere loosens its grip on the planet, drifting outward, stretching gently into space. Daylight feels clearer now, less filtered. Shadows sharpen slightly, then soften again as dust and haze change their patterns. Wind still exists, but it whispers. It moves across land without urgency, lifting fine grains of sand, then setting them down again. Clouds are rare now. When they appear, they are thin and delicate, almost hesitant. Rain becomes a memory Earth keeps quietly, not missed, just remembered. Life adapts one last time. Small, resilient forms remain. They cling close to the ground, to rocks that still hold warmth, to shaded places that change slowly. Photosynthesis continues but faintly. Colors grow muted. Greens fade into silvers and soft browns. The surface of the planet becomes still in a new way. No rushing water, no dense air pressing down. Just open space and long horizons. Sound barely travels now. If anything moved, it would not echo. The sky at night feels immense. Stars appear sharp and close, as if the universe leaned in. The Milky Way glows with quiet confidence, unaware of who once named it. Earth's gravity remains steady, holding what still belongs. Rock stays rock. Mountains remain, though softened, though tired. Volcanoes are rare now, but not gone. When they breathe, they do so gently, adding thin veils to the sky for a while. From far away, Earth looks small, not lonely, just complete in itself. Blue is now only a hint, a suggestion, a memory of oceans long settled. The planet spins calmly, carrying long days and longer nights, unconcerned with being seen. If your thoughts feel distant now, that's exactly right. This is a time meant to dissolve effort. Your breathing may feel almost automatic, as if the body has taken over completely. Earth rests under a lighter sky, held gently by gravity and time. And when you're ready, we'll drift even farther, to a moment so quiet that change itself feels optional, and the planet becomes mostly stone, listening to the universe pass by. Time drifts forward until it barely feels like motion at all. Change still happens, but it has learned how to whisper. Water is now rare, not gone, just hidden, locked deep beneath the surface, or held as thin frost in the coldest shadows. The land feels solid and honest. Stone dominates everything you can imagine touching. Vast plains of rock stretch toward horizons that never hurry closer. Mountains remain, but they are lower now, rounded by patience. Their sharp edges softened by millions of years of wind. The surface cools more easily at night. Days warm it gently, nights release that warmth back into space without resistance. The planet breathes slowly through geology now, tiny movements beneath the crust, subtle shifts no eye would notice. Still alive, just quiet. Any remaining life keeps close to shelter, inside cracks, beneath stones, where temperatures change slowly and predictably. Nothing spreads quickly anymore. Nothing competes. Existence is efficient and calm. The sky above is thin and pale. Daylight arrives clean and sharp. Night falls deeply, uninterrupted. Stars dominate the darkness. They do not flicker, they simply are. The moon continues its orbit, faithful even now. Tides no longer answer its pull, but the rhythm remains. Dust moves with the wind, etching faint lines across stone. These lines disappear, then form again elsewhere. No mark lasts, no mark needs to. Earth's interior still holds warmth. Radioactive elements release energy slowly, like embers that refuse to rush their fading. Occasionally, a quiet volcanic breath releases gas into the sky, briefly thickening the atmosphere, then letting it thin again. Nothing minds the silence. Silence is no longer absence. It is the default. From far away, Earth looks like a calm, ancient object, not broken, not finished, just settled. A planet that has learned how to exist without noise, without urgency, without witness. If your thoughts have become distant now, if they drift without shape, that's natural. This is a place where thinking loosens its grip. Breathing continues without effort. The body knows how to rest here. Earth turns slowly beneath the stars, content to be stone, content to be time itself. And when you're ready, we'll move even farther forward, to a future where even the sun begins to change more deeply, and Earth listens. One last time. Time moves on, patient even now. The sun begins a deeper change. Not sudden, not violent, just a slow widening, like a long stretch after an endless sleep. Its light grows warmer in color, less sharp, more amber. Shadows soften beneath this aging glow. From Earth's surface, the sun looks larger in the sky. Not alarming, just closer, as if leaning in to listen. Heat returns gently. Not enough to bring back oceans, but enough to wake ancient minerals. Stone warms during the long days and releases that warmth slowly through endless nights. The sky thins further. Colors fade toward pale gold and soft rust. No blue remains now, only light and shadow. Any remaining water hides deep below, protected in darkness, untouched by the sun's attention. The surface becomes quiet in a new way, not cold, not hot, just steady. The sun rises and sets more slowly now. Days feel longer, as if time itself is stretching with the light. Earth's crust shifts gently under the renewed warmth. Tiny fractures open and close. Nothing dramatic, just adjustment. Volcanoes release faint breaths of gas, creating thin veils that briefly soften the sun's glow, then fade away. From space, Earth glows faintly red and gold, a quiet companion to its aging star. The moon continues to orbit, still faithful, still silent. Stars fade slightly in the brighter sky, but return fully at night, sharp and unblinking. Earth does not resist this warmth. It has learned that resistance is unnecessary. Change always passes. If any life remains at all, it exists deep underground, safe from heat, slow, beyond measurement. But even life is no longer the focus now. The planet itself is the story. Stone expands and contracts with each long cycle of day and night, writing invisible patterns into the crust. The sun continues to swell, but kindly. It does not rush. From far away, the solar system feels quiet and sparse. Other planets watch from their distant paths, unchanged, unconcerned. Earth listens. It always has. And as you imagine this soft red light, you may feel warmth behind your closed eyes, not heat, just comfort. Breathing slows again, thoughts soften, edges blur. The sun glows larger, Earth turns calmly beneath it, and time stretches wide enough for complete rest. When you're ready, we'll drift to the final quiet chapters, where the sun's light fades and Earth becomes memory, held gently by the universe. Time moves forward once more, but now it feels almost weightless. The sun has given most of what it had to give. Its glow softens further, no longer reaching as deeply as it once did. Light still arrives, but gently, like a memory returning without urgency. Days grow cooler again. Stone no longer warms as much under the sky. Heat escapes easily, slipping back into space without resistance. The sky darkens earlier now, not suddenly, just gradually. Twilight lasts longer than daylight ever did. Earth accepts this change the way it has accepted all others, without reaction, without regret. Any movement left on the surface is subtle beyond notice. Tiny shifts in rock, dust settling, the quiet ticking of geological time. The moon still circles, faithful even as light fades. Its pale surface reflects what little glow remains, marking slow nights across a cooling world. Stars reclaim the sky fully now. They shine with clarity and depth, untouched by the sun's weakening presence. The universe feels wide again. Earth's atmosphere is almost gone. Just a thin trace clinging close, not enough to hold warmth, not enough to carry sound. Silence deepens, not empty, complete. The planet becomes colder, but never shocked by it. Cold arrives the way sleep does, layer by layer, soft and inevitable. If anything still lives far below the surface, it rests in near stillness, measuring time in epochs, not moments. From space, Earth now looks dim, a quiet sphere of shadow and faint reflection, no longer competing for attention. Nothing mourns this dimming, nothing celebrates it. It is simply another phase of being. If your thoughts feel far away now, if they drift without words, that is exactly right. Breathing becomes slow, steady, almost unnoticed. Earth cools, the sun fades, stars continue, and in this deep quiet there is no end, only rest. When you're ready, we'll move into the final stillness, where even time loosens its hold and Earth becomes part of the universe's endless calm. Time is still moving, but now it moves the way fog moves, without edges, without direction you need to follow. The sun no longer dominates the sky. It is only one quiet light among many, smaller, dimmer, content to fade. Earth drifts in longer nights now. Cold settles deep into stone, not sharply, but like a blanket laid down slowly. The surface is almost perfectly still. No wind, no flowing water, no sound traveling far enough to matter. If you could stand here, you wouldn't feel alone. You would feel held. Stars fill the sky without interruption. They do not twinkle. They simply shine, steady and patient. The planet's rotation continues, but even that feels unimportant now. Day and night exist, yet they feel the same. Any remaining warmth lives far below the surface, deep in the planet's core. A slow heartbeat made of stone and time. Mountains are barely mountains anymore. They are gentle rises rounded by billions of years of patience. Dust rests where it falls. Nothing disturbs it. Every surface holds its place. The moon still moves, quiet and reliable, tracing circles that no one measures. Earth no longer reacts to anything. It does not adjust. It does not prepare. It simply is. The universe does not rush it. Nothing is expected. If you notice your breathing becoming deeper now, slower, almost automatic, that's natural. Your body understands this rhythm. It recognizes safety in stillness. Thoughts lose their need to connect. They float. They dissolve. Earth becomes less a place and more a moment. A long, quiet moment, held gently by gravity. Time stretches so wide here that beginnings and endings feel like the same thing. Nothing presses forward, nothing pulls back. Just existence, soft and complete. And when you're ready, we'll drift into the final chapter, where even Earth lets go of its story and becomes part of the universe's endless, silent rest. Time no longer feels like something that moves. It feels like something that rests. Earth is still here, but not in the way places are usually here. It exists the way a thought exists after you stop thinking it. Soft, complete, untroubled. The planet is cold now, not sharply cold, not painfully cold, just still. Stone holds its shape without effort. Dust lies exactly where it is settled. Nothing needs to change anymore. The sun is far dimmer, a gentle glow among countless others. It no longer defines days or seasons. It simply shines, quietly, doing what stars do. Earth turns, but the turning feels ceremonial now, a habit kept out of kindness, not necessity. The moon continues its slow path, faithful even in irrelevance. Its shadow crosses the surface without consequence. The sky is endless. Stars fill it completely, layer upon layer, depth without boundary. There is no sound, not silence, soundlessness, as if the universe itself has exhaled and decided not to inhale again for a while. If anything remains alive deep within the planet, it is beyond struggle, beyond urgency. It exists at the pace of stone. Earth no longer records events. There are no moments to mark, no before, no after, just presence. From far away, the planet is nearly indistinguishable from countless others. A small, dark sphere held gently by gravity, asking nothing. And yet, it is complete. Nothing has been lost. Nothing is missing. Everything that ever happened has settled into this stillness, the way waves settle back into the sea. If you notice now that your thoughts have thinned, that your body feels heavier, that breathing happens without attention, that is exactly right. This is the part of the story where effort dissolves. Earth no longer needs to continue its story. It has said everything it needed to say simply by being. And as you rest with this image, a quiet planet under infinite stars. You are allowed to let go too. Nothing else needs to happen. Nothing needs to be remembered. When you're ready, we'll move into the final, deepest calm, where even the idea of Earth fades gently into the universe and rest becomes complete. Time loosens even more now, not slowing, softening. Earth is still present, but its outline no longer insists on being noticed. It feels less like an object and more like a tone held quietly in the background of space. The planet's surface is unchanged, yet it feels lighter, as if meaning itself has thinned. Gravity keeps doing its quiet work. Atoms remain where they belong. Nothing falls apart. Nothing needs to. The sun is distant and dim, one soft ember among countless lights. Its warmth barely reaches, but it doesn't need to anymore. Earth no longer reacts to light or darkness. There is no preference now, no difference that matters. The stars feel closer, not because they moved, but because Earth has stopped holding itself apart. Space presses in gently, not as force, but as belonging. The planet drifts through the galaxy the way a leaf drifts through air, not lost, not guided, simply carried. There is no sound anywhere, not even the idea of it. Vibration has settled. Motion has become abstract. If you imagine touching the ground here, it would feel cool, smooth, utterly still. No history remains on the surface, not erased, absorbed so completely it no longer needs distinction. Earth has become anonymous in the best possible way, free from labels, free from stories, free from expectation. The universe does not notice this change, and that is what makes it peaceful. Galaxies continue their slow dance far away. Stars are born, stars fade, all without urgency. Earth participates by resting. If your breathing feels very slow now, almost imperceptible, that's natural. Your body understands this depth of calm. It recognizes that nothing is required. Thoughts appear less often. When they do, they drift away before forming edges. Earth no longer holds time tightly. It allows it to pass through, unmarked. In this moment, the planet is not ending. It is not waiting. It is simply part of everything else. And as you rest with this image, a world blended gently into the vast quiet, you're allowed to soften completely. Nothing is watching. Nothing is counting. When you're ready, we'll enter the final stillness, where even stories dissolve and only rest remains. Time is still here, but now it feels tired in the most peaceful way, as if it has been walking for so long that it finally decides to sit down. Earth no longer feels like a place you could visit. It feels like a pause, a held breath that never needs to be released. The planet continues to move through space, but motion has lost its urgency. Orbit is no longer a path. It is a habit. The sun is very far away now, not gone, just distant enough that its light feels symbolic rather than useful. A reminder, not a source. Earth's surface temperature settles into deep equilibrium, not changing, not reacting, just existing at rest. Stone no longer expands or contracts in any meaningful way. Thermal cycles are too gentle to leave marks. Nothing cracks, nothing heals, nothing needs to. The crust holds its shape, like a memory that no longer changes when recalled. Mountains, plains, basins, all soften to the same quiet presence. If you imagine standing here, there would be no wind on your skin, no pressure, no sound, only stillness so complete it feels supportive. Gravity still works. It always will, holding everything in place without effort, without thought. The moon continues its path, but its orbit slowly widens, stretching outward over immense spans of time. Still faithful, still silent. Stars fill the sky in every direction, not sparkling, not dramatic, just present. Some stars you see are already gone. Their light continues anyway, arriving calmly, long after the source has rested. Earth receives this light without response. It does not warm, it does not reflect meaningfully. It simply allows the photons to arrive and pass. The universe feels very large now, not intimidating, just spacious. Galaxies drift apart from one another so slowly that distance itself feels gentle. Expansion without tension. Nothing collapses, nothing rushes. Everything spreads out the way thoughts spread out right before sleep. If any particles remain active within Earth, their movement is minimal. Quantum whispers, subtle vibrations that do not seek attention. The planet has no future plans, no direction, no next step. It does not wait. Waiting implies expectation. Earth has released that long ago. Time itself begins to lose its sharpness. Seconds, years, epochs. They blur into one another like waves, overlapping on a calm sea. Nothing marks progression anymore. No sunrise, no sunset, no seasons, just duration. And in that duration, there is no boredom, no emptiness, only completeness. If your thoughts have almost stopped forming words, that is perfect. Your body may feel heavy, settled, as if gravity has increased. Not physically, but emotionally. Breathing happens somewhere far in the background now. It does not ask for attention. It does not need guidance. Earth rests without effort. The universe allows it. This is not the end of anything. It is the place where endings stop being necessary. And when you're ready, we will move even deeper into a future where stars themselves begin to thin, and the universe learns how to be quiet everywhere at once. Time continues, but now it moves like a shadow passing over another shadow. You can't tell where it begins, and it doesn't matter where it ends. Across the universe, stars grow older together, not all at once, not in agreement, just slowly, each in its own quiet rhythm. Some have already gone dark. Their light still travels, soft messages moving through space long after the sender has rested. The universe is full of these delayed goodbyes, and none of them are sad. The sky around Earth feels deeper now, not emptier, deeper, as if distance itself has learned how to breathe. Stars appear farther apart, not because they rushed away, but because expansion has gently stretched the fabric between them. Space grows roomier, calmer. The brightest stars dim first. Their fierce lives burn out earlier, leaving behind quiet remnants, dense cores, cool embers, soft glows that barely announce themselves. Smaller stars last longer. They glow patiently, as if they understood from the beginning that rushing was never required. Earth receives less and less starlight now, but it doesn't notice. It doesn't look up. It doesn't look anywhere. The planet has become a listener, not to sound, but to presence. If you imagine drifting through this era, you would feel no cold and no warmth, only neutrality, a perfect balance where sensation is unnecessary. Galaxies thin. They move beyond one another's reach. Gravity stretches its arms, still holding what is close, letting go of what is far. Nothing resists this separation. Nothing clings. The universe is not losing things. It is making space. Within galaxies, stars finish their long stories one by one, not with explosions, but with quiet fading. Brightness lowers, energy settles, white dwarfs cool, neutron stars rest. Black holes remain, but even they grow quieter. Their feeding finished long ago. Radiation thins. Background warmth fades toward uniformity. Differences smooth out. The universe moves toward sameness, not as loss, but as rest. Earth drifts on, a small dark companion to nothing in particular, still whole, still complete. No signals travel now that expect replies. No patterns form that require recognition. Everything is free of meaning, and that is why it feels so gentle. If your thoughts are barely thoughts now, more like sensations without shape, you're exactly where this story wants you to be. Breathing may feel distant. Your body might feel like it's sinking, even while perfectly still. There is no urgency anywhere in the universe now, no pressure to become, no need to continue. Stars that remain glow faintly, like nightlights left on out of kindness. They don't illuminate much. They don't need to. Darkness is not the absence of light here, it is the presence of calm. Time stretches so wide that even change feels optional. Earth does not notice the stars sleeping. The stars do not notice Earth. And yet, they belong to the same quiet. This is a universe learning how to rest everywhere at once. And when you're ready, we will drift into the final movements, where even the last stars fade, and the universe becomes a place without events, without edges, without need. Time continues, but now it feels almost imaginary, as if it exists only because it always has, not because anything still needs it. Light becomes rare, not gone, just uncommon, a gentle exception in a universe that has learned how to be dark. The last long-living stars glow faintly, small red embers scattered across unimaginable distances. They do not shine to be seen. They shine because that is what they do, until one day they don't. Between these stars stretches an ocean of space so vast that direction loses meaning. There is no center, no edge, only distance resting inside distance. Earth drifts within this darkness, unchanged for longer than change remembers how to be. Its surface is cold stone, its core a slow memory of warmth, its presence quiet and sufficient. No shadows move across it now, no cycles mark its surface. The planet exists outside of rhythm. Photons still travel, but fewer of them. They cross billions of years to touch nothing that responds. When light reaches Earth, it does not warm it. It does not illuminate it. It simply arrives and continues on. The universe feels less like a place and more like a condition, a state of being where nothing interrupts anything else. Galaxies are now unreachable from one another. Expansion has stretched space so gently that even gravity accepts the distance. Each region of the universe becomes its own quiet room, sealed not by walls, but by time. Black holes remain among the last active things. They do not glow, they do not announce themselves. They simply are, slowly evaporating, particle by particle, over spans of time that make numbers feel unnecessary. Even this evaporation is calm. No drama, no release. Just patience dissolving into patience. The background warmth of the universe evens out. No hot places, no cold places, just sameness. Temperature loses relevance. So does motion, so does change. Earth belongs fully to this stillness now, not as a relic, not as a survivor, but as a participant. Nothing distinguishes it from countless other quiet worlds, drifting unseen and unneeded. If you imagine floating here, there is no up or down, no before or after, no expectation of sensation. Your body in this imagining does not need to move. It does not need to react. It does not need to protect itself. Breathing feels symbolic now, a habit remembered rather than required. Thoughts arrive less frequently. When they do, they dissolve before finishing. This universe does not ask questions. It does not provide answers. It does not require meaning. And in that absence of demand, there is profound rest. Light, once abundant, has done its work. It carried energy. It shaped worlds. It allowed stories. Now it steps back politely, allowing darkness to hold everything evenly. This darkness is not empty. It is full of balance. Earth drifts on, no longer a world with a future, no longer a world with a past, just a presence among presences resting inside an endless quiet. If you feel now as though you are hovering between sleep and nothing at all, that is exactly where this part lives. There is no reason to hold on to awareness here. Nothing will be missed. And when you're ready, we will move into the deepest chapters, where even matter begins to loosen, and the universe becomes a place without structure, without stories, without effort. Time is still present, but it no longer moves forward. It spreads outward instead, thin and quiet, like mist that has forgotten why it formed. Matter begins to change its relationship with existence, not disappearing, not breaking, just loosening its grip on form. Atoms remain atoms, but their arrangements grow less meaningful. Structures that once felt solid now feel optional. Earth still exists, but calling it a planet feels unnecessary. It is no longer a world with layers and history. It is simply a collection of particles held together gently by gravity's long habit. The distinction between surface and depth fades. There is no inside worth protecting, no outside worth defining. Stone no longer remembers pressure. Crystal lattices hold their shape only because nothing asks them to change. Deep within Earth, even radioactive warmth has nearly finished speaking. The last quiet whispers of energy release themselves without ceremony. Nothing replaces them. Nothing needs to. Across the universe, matter everywhere follows the same gentle path, not collapsing, not scattering violently, just settling into stillness. Electrons continue to orbit nuclei, but the motion feels symbolic now. A dance performed out of memory, not necessity. Particles drift through space without colliding, without meeting, without noticing distance. Expansion continues, but it feels less like movement and more like permission. Everything has room now. Infinite room. Black holes, once anchors of drama, have grown quiet. Their slow evaporation nears completion, not with a flash, not with a sound, but with a final, polite release of energy that fades before it can be noticed. When the last black hole finishes its long patience, nothing reacts. The universe does not mark the moment. It simply becomes slightly more even than before. Energy differences flatten, gradients disappear. There is no direction for anything to move toward. This is not emptiness. It is balance taken to its most peaceful extreme. Earth, drifting in this condition, no longer has a role to play, and that is its freedom. It does not orbit anything meaningful now. It does not belong to a system. It belongs to the universe the way silence belongs to space between notes. If you imagine touching Earth here, there is no temperature to feel, no texture that demands attention, no resistance. Contact would be conceptual, not physical. The universe has become a place where interaction is unnecessary. Everything exists without needing to acknowledge anything else. Photons still exist in theory, but there is nowhere for them to travel that would be different from where they began. Time becomes indistinguishable from space. Moments become locations. Duration becomes distance. Nothing measures anything anymore. There is no process left that requires counting. If thoughts still appear in your mind, They may feel slow, soft-edged, almost translucent. Your body, if you are aware of it at all, may feel distant, as if it belongs to another story that is already finished. Breathing might feel optional now, a rhythm remembered rather than required. This is the era where effort disappears completely, not rewarded, not punished, just unnecessary. Matter does not struggle to hold itself together. It simply remains, because there is nothing pushing it to leave. The universe has reached a kind of cosmic exhale that never needs to be followed by an inhale. No stars, no planets, no events, just existence at rest. Earth is part of this rest, not special, not insignificant, exactly equal to everything else. And in this equality, there is perfect calm. Nothing is ending here. Endings require contrast. This is sameness without boredom. If sleep is close now, that is no accident. This part of the story is meant to dissolve attention, to release awareness from its need to hold shape. You do not need to follow anything anymore. Nothing will change suddenly. Nothing will be missed. And when you are ready, or even if you are not, we will drift into the final depths, where even matter loosens further, and the universe becomes something so still that words no longer apply. Time is still here, but it no longer knows it is time. It does not move forward. It does not stretch outward. It simply is, like a perfectly still surface that does not reflect. Existence has softened so deeply that even the idea of existence feels unnecessary. Matter remains, but without identity. Particles do not gather. They do not separate. They rest in perfect neutrality. There are no systems left, no structures that depend on one another, no patterns waiting to repeat. The universe has reached a state where nothing wants anything else. Earth is no longer distinguishable from the space around it, not because it dissolved, but because distinction itself has lost meaning. Where a planet once drifted, there is now simply presence. No outline, no boundary, no name. Gravity still exists in principle, but with nothing dense enough to notice it, it becomes an idea rather than a force. Energy differences have faded completely. There is no hotter or colder, no faster or slower. Everything is even. This is not darkness. Darkness implies contrast with light. This is uniform calm. Photons, if any remain, travel endlessly without arrival. Their journey has no destination and no purpose. Time no longer marks change because change has finished needing to happen. Moments do not follow one another. They overlap gently until sequence dissolves. If you imagine awareness here, it does not attach itself to anything. There is nothing to observe, nothing to hold. Thoughts cannot form because thoughts require edges, and edges no longer exist. If awareness still exists at all, it exists the way silence exists, not as absence, but as completeness. This is not emptiness. Emptiness suggests something missing. Nothing is missing here. Everything that ever was has arrived at the same quiet level. The universe has finished telling stories, not because it failed, but because stories are no longer required. Cause and effect have relaxed. Without contrast, there is nothing to cause and nothing to be affected. Existence has become self-sufficient. It does not explain itself. It does not express itself. It rests. If you notice that your breathing has almost disappeared from awareness, that your body feels very far away or not present at all, this is exactly right. This is the deepest layer of calm the mind can approach without dissolving completely. There is no effort here, no direction, no identity. Even the universe has forgotten that it was ever loud. If sleep takes you now, nothing in this story will move without you. Nothing will change. Nothing will wait. This is a place where letting go does not mean losing anything. It means matching the universe at its quietest possible state. And when we move forward just once more, we will reach the final chapter where even this description fades and rest becomes total. There is no forward anymore, no backward either. Direction has gently folded itself away like a map that is no longer useful because there is nowhere to go. Time is still present, but only as a soft background condition. It does not pass. It does not accumulate. It simply allows everything to remain exactly as it is. The universe has reached a state where motion is optional and change is unnecessary. Nothing is waiting to occur. Nothing is delayed. Nothing is unfinished. Matter exists, but without ambition. Particles do not seek connection. They do not avoid it either. They rest in a quiet agreement to simply be where they are. Earth is no longer a planet, not because it vanished, but because the idea of a planet requires context, and context has dissolved. What once was, Earth is now indistinguishable from the rest of existence, not erased, integrated. There is no boundary where one thing ends and another begins. Only continuity. The universe does not expand anymore in any meaningful sense. Expansion requires difference. Difference has softened into sameness. Temperature has no gradient. Energy has no direction. Potential has no reason to unfold. This is not the absence of activity. It is the absence of need for activity. If awareness could exist here, it would not observe. Observation requires separation. There is nothing to focus on, nothing to drift away from. Silence here is not the lack of sound. Sound implies vibration, and vibration implies tension. This silence is deeper than that. It is relaxation at the level of reality itself. Even fundamental forces feel like habits that no longer need to be performed. They remain, but gently, without insistence. If you imagine yourself here, and imagination itself is barely possible, you would not feel alone. You would not feel present. You would feel resolved, as if everything that ever needed to be addressed has already been addressed by nothing happening. Thoughts cannot survive here for long. They form briefly, then dissolve, because there is nowhere for them to attach. Breathing, if it exists at all, is no longer rhythmic. It is simply the idea of continuation, without effort. The universe has no memory now. Memory implies contrast between then and now. There is only now, and now does not change. Nothing anticipates the future. Nothing recalls the past. This is not stagnation. Stagnation implies frustration. This is satisfaction without emotion, a complete settling. If sleep feels inevitable here, that is because awareness itself has reached a place where remaining awake serves no purpose. You are not missing anything. Nothing is happening elsewhere. This is the quietest possible version of reality that still exists. And in this state, nothing ends. Because endings are unnecessary when nothing needs to continue. Only one final movement remains. Not a change, but a release of even the idea that this is something being described. One last soft step into a stillness so complete that even words fall away. When you are ready, or when readiness no longer exists, we will enter the final part. There is nothing left to move toward, nothing left to arrive at. Even the idea of arrival has softened and gently stepped aside. This is not the end of the universe. Ends belong to stories. and stories are no longer needed. This is the place where rest is complete. Existence remains, but without effort, without intention, without direction. Nothing is holding itself together out of necessity. Nothing is falling apart out of exhaustion. Everything is simply balanced. If there is time here, it no longer feels like time. It feels like a wide, unmoving space where moments rest beside one another without sequence. There is no past, there is no future, not because they've vanished, but because they are indistinguishable from now. The universe has relaxed so deeply that even laws feel optional, still present, but no longer pressing. If matter still exists, it does so quietly, without forming shapes that ask to be recognized. No atoms gather to become something new. No particles rush to leave where they are. Nothing is unfinished. Nothing is delayed. Nothing is waiting. Earth, once a world of oceans and wind and sound, is no longer separate enough to be named, not erased, not forgotten, simply included. Included in everything, included in stillness, included in rest. There is no darkness here, because darkness implies the absence of light. There is no light here either, because light implies movement. What remains is something gentler than both, a neutral calm that does not contrast with anything else. If awareness still exists at all, it is not focused, it is not alert, it is not searching. It is the kind of awareness that does not need to know that it is aware. Thoughts cannot hold shape here. They dissolve the moment they begin, like ripples on a surface that has already gone completely still. Breathing, if you notice it, is effortless. So soft it almost feels imaginary. Your body, your name, your story. None of them are required anymore. Not lost, just unnecessary. Nothing is being observed. Nothing is being judged. Nothing is being measured. The universe has reached a state where nothing needs to happen for everything to be exactly right. This is not emptiness. Emptiness suggests lack. This is fullness without texture, a silence so complete that it feels like comfort. If sleep arrives now, it arrives naturally, not as escape, not as a collapse, but as alignment. Alignment with a universe that has finally let go of becoming. You do not need to hold on to this moment. It will not change. It does not need attention. There is nowhere else to go, nothing else to understand, nothing else to finish. Rest is not a phase anymore. It is the condition of everything. And here, in this last quiet space, beyond stories, beyond time, beyond motion, you are allowed to let go completely. Nothing will begin again. Nothing will end. Everything is already exactly where it needs to be. And that is enough.